Okay, let's make a vampire. I've got the picture I'm looking for opened in Photoshop Elements. You can see the layer. I'm going to right click. I'm going to select duplicate layer. Essentially I want to leave my original as it is in case I need to come back and change anything. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm just going to call it working image and press enter. You'll see there's a lock next to the original one. That's just my original image. The working image is on top of it. Whatever layer is on top is the one I'm working with. First, we're going to do the eyes. So I'm going to zoom in so I can get a real good look at the eyes here. I'm going to select the magic wand. You see I've got the tolerance set at 15. Essentially, when I click a color, whatever that tolerance is, that's how closely it'll look for matching colors. So as you see, I clicked once, it selected a lot of that eye, but not all of it. So each successive time that I click, it's going to add a little bit more to that selection. It's probably going to add more than I need, and that's fine right now. Because in a couple seconds, right now, I'm actually going to hold down the Alt key and click right here. And what that does is that subtracts. If I hold down the Alt key and I click, it'll take away from that color. So I had the black selected and I didn't want it. So I hit the Alt key, clicked the black, and that took the black out of it. So right now I'm just kind of tweaking how much of that eye I'm going to select. I need to get all of the colored area, none of the black. That's what it comes down to. So right now I'm kind of happy with it. I think it looks good. So I'm going to go up to select. I'm going to click refine edge. I just want to make this edge look a little cleaner. The only thing I'm actually going to change is the contract and expand. It's set at 11% because that's the last time I used it. But essentially, if I hit contract and I take it down to a negative number, it'll bring that selection in. I want to expand it a little bit just in case I missed some of the color. So I'm going to put it at 44% and click OK. And you'll see up around the top of that eyelid right there, there's a little bit too much. So I'm going to bring it back down a little bit, and that'll bring it down away from his eyelid to select only the colored part of Tyler's eye. So I'll go ahead and click OK. Looks good. So we're going to go to Layer, New, and we're going to do Layer via Copy. So essentially, everything I had selected, I'm going to copy that and put that in a new layer. And you'll see that in the blank area at the top of the layer screen where it says Layer 1. That's just Tyler's left eye. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the right eye. The only downside is with my video editor here, I don't know how to speed up what I'm doing, so you just have to watch me do the same thing again, and I apologize for that. But essentially, I've got that tolerance set at 15. If you set it at 10 or 5 or even less, you got to do a lot more clicking to get all the colors of Tyler's eye. Because you see, it's kind of a blue-gray eye, but there's a lot of variances in color. If I set the number higher, if I had it at 30 or 40, I'd click once and it would probably select his entire eyeball, including the black part and even some of his eyelashes. So 15 is a good number. You just got to do a little bit of tweaking. So I've got a good selection here. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Select, go down to refine edges to kind of clean up the edges. The smooth and feather, those are exactly what it was when I first opened the program up. It just kind of smooths that out a little bit. But I want to contract or expand it to really get it to encompass all of Tyler's eye. So we're good. I'm going to go to Layer, New, and then New Layer via Copy. So it's going to copy that eye to the new selection. So I see I've got Layer 1 and Layer 2. That's Tyler's left eye and right eye. So when I zoom out, I can actually show you what I'm talking about. I'll click off those layers. That's Layer 1 and Layer 2. It's the only thing on there is his two eyeballs, or just the the corneas or pupils, whatever the colored part's called. I don't really know. It doesn't matter. So anyway, let's do some teeth now. We need to give him some vampire teeth. So I'm going to zoom in on his teeth. I'm going to right click on this little finger here. What I need is the smudge tool. And that's what the finger is right there. It'll take whatever I select and it'll smudge it. This little slider up here, I can select how big I want that brush to be. That big circle, it's way too big. 50, 60, that's a good number for the size I'm working with. You can also use your bracket keys right next to the P on your keyboard to raise and lower, and that's what I'll be doing. Anytime you see that brush change size, I'm using the keys. That's why I'm not going back up there and sliding it. Anyway, I'm just going to put my cursor right on his tooth, click, and drag straight down. And that'll give him a little bit of a point. It blurs the edges a little bit. And I'm going to bring that brush a little bit smaller and do it again. So it'll give me a little bit more of a point. And I'm even going to do that one more time. A little bit smaller brush. And I'm going to drag and curl it in just a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And now I've got his top teeth done. I'm not even going to worry about the blurred edges of the teeth because once I zoom out of this picture, you're not going to notice it. It doesn't look fantastic right now. So I'm going to do the same thing with his bottom teeth. I'm not going to do it as much because, you know, I've got nice vampire teeth at the top. The bottom ones, I'm just going to give him a little bit of point, drag him up a little bit, and be done with it. That's all I need to do for his teeth. So I'll zoom out and you'll see what I'm talking about. Once you're zoomed out, it looks good. You don't see those blurred edges, that they're not so crisp when it's zoomed in. It looks good right now. So I like this, but before I do anything else, I'm actually going to make another copy of what I'm looking at right now. So I'm going to go back over to the working image, right click it, and select duplicate layer, and I'm just going to hit OK. So whatever I do right now, I can go back to right where his teeth were and then change everything else. So I'm going to work on the working image copy layer now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this icon over here. I don't know what it's called, but I want the dodge tool. And what the dodge tool does is it kind of erases the color towards white. There's a dodge, a burn, and a sponge. The burn will actually take it towards black. So I'm actually going to bring it towards white, and I'm actually just going to click and drag all. I'm essentially just going to paint on the picture. It's just painting a little bit of white on the picture. Just it fades the color out a little bit. So anywhere where Tyler's skin tone is, I want to paint over that. So I'm just going to click and drag. You know, certain areas of this picture, especially his ears, I'm going to need to lower that brush size. Right now you see that big circle going across the screen. That's not going to do so well on his ears because it's just too big. So I'm just going to paint around. Click and drag, and you'll see I'm getting real pale. The more you click, the more you drag, his face will literally turn white, as if you splashed white paint on there. The thing about using this tool is it kind of slowly takes away the color. Instead of just throwing white on top of it, it's kind of erasing the color from it, but not taking it to a black and white where there's no saturation. There's still the color there. So I'm going to fade him out real good. Can't forget to do his neck. You know, just a smaller tool. This is another spot where I really wish I knew how to speed up the video so you don't have to sit here and watch me paint every single little detail here. But what it really does is it really pales Tyler. You know, he has no tan anymore. He's just real pale. So I can actually in a second go to the other side of the screen and click these little eyeballs and show you the difference. You know, that's what it looked like before and after. So he's got a nice little tan, now he's got nothing. So I'm happy with that. The next thing I need to do is I need to give him some red eyes. I'm sorry about that, my mistake. Hit the wrong key. So I'm going to zoom back into Tyler's eyes, and I need to make him red, as if, you know, he's the real thirsty vampire from the Twilight books, which I hate to say I've read. Anyway, I'm going to go to Enhance Color, and then Color Variations, and I'll show you that again in a second. Highlights, I actually clicked Increase Red twice. Shadows, I increased red once, and then midtones, I clicked it 3 times, and you see the difference it makes on the after. It gives them a real red eye. That looks great. You know, it doesn't look real, but we're not worried about that yet. I'm going to do the exact thing over here. Enhance, Adjust Color, and then Color Variations. Exact same thing. The highlights, I click red once to increase it. Shadows, I clicked it twice to increase it. And then midtones, I clicked that 3 times and increased it up to there. I think it looks really good. You know, you zoom out, he's got really, really bright red eyes. You know, the only downside is they don't look real. It looks like I just took a red marker and painted over his eyes. I want to make it look a little real. And you'll actually see where I selected inside his pupil, that black area, right around that white area was red as well. I'm okay with that. You can erase that if you needed to. But what I want to do is make this a little more real. So up here, I'm going to click the layer right there, and I'm going to do a hard light blend, and essentially it takes his original eyes and the red on top and it kind of blends them together with a hard light filter, and it looks good. But now the eyes are too dark, they're not red anymore. So I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add more red to the picture, or to the eyes. So I'm gonna click shadows, increase red. I'm gonna click midtones and increase red and hit OK. Now it's a little bit too red. So what I can do is I can hit Control Z and that'll undo my last change, or I can just go to Edit, Undo Color Variation, and it takes back to what it was last. And I'm going to go back in. I'm going to skip the shadows and just increase the midtones 1 time and hit OK. And now I think I've got a really good red eye. I think it looks great. It blends really good with his old eyes, so it looks like an actual eye, not that I just painted his eye red. I'm going to do the exact same thing to his left eye. I'm going to go into Adjust Color, Color Variations, and I'm just going to add red 1 time and hit OK and take a look at it. I think we're looking really good right here. And this essentially is it. This is a Vampire Tyler. I can turn everything off. This is our original image, and then I changed his teeth. We added some teeth to him, And then we made him nice and pale. And then I went and did his eyes. So anytime you can turn off certain layers, adjust certain layers, and do what you want to them, and go back, forward, whatever you want to do. But this is our Vampire Tyler. I hope you liked it.